is the Conservative American Message, hosted by the one and only Cam Lau. It is Monday, July 1st, 2024, and you are listening to the 78th episode of this podcast. Joseph Joubert said, "It is better to debate a question without settling it than to settle a question without debating it." If you support what we're doing here at the Conservative American Message, please show us your support by making a purchase in our merch store. Go to campodcast.square.site or click the link in the description of this episode. If you want to support the podcast for free, give us a 5-star rating and follow or subscribe wherever you listen. To stay up to date on everything we've got going on, follow us on social media at the Conservative American Message on Instagram and Facebook.
We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency.
With the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
They destroyed, he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, what he's telling you is simply not true.
What a week. Well, I'm sure you all got to watch the first presidential debate between Biden and Trump, or at least you've seen some clips like that. CNN hosted the debate on Thursday night, and for the first time in the history of presidential debates, they put some very strict rules in place. The candidates were given an allotted time of 1 to 2 minutes to answer each question, and when it wasn't their turn to speak or their time ran out, their microphone was muted by the moderators. There was no live audience to react to their answers or hear them if they did try to interrupt. Although everyone was extremely critical of these new rules leading up to the debate, I kind of think they were great. Jake Tapper and Dana Bash from CNN were the moderators, and they were shockingly fair to both candidates, I thought anyway. They didn't overly criticize Trump, nor did they hold back on Biden. It might have been the most civilized and fair debate I've ever seen in my life. This is really what CNN needed, though, to bring back some of their credibility. Fox News couldn't even hold a fair debate back when they had Chris Wallace moderating, so I was truly impressed by CNN here. The muted mics turned out to be one of the best decisions ever. I love watching Trump yell as much as the next guy, but there's really no need for that at this debate. You know, it's different when there's 20 Republicans up on stage and you have to just yell over each other because there's no way the moderators can be fair. But one-on-one with Biden, this was a perfect balance. It was definitely a little awkward without a live audience, though. I thought that the rules and format allowed for an honest conversation about the issues facing our nation rather than the clown show reality TV that we typically get from these type of events. Overall, very positive reaction from me. Of course, the candidates never agreed on the same set of facts throughout, and I'll admit there was some dishonesty on both sides. But when Biden said that not one person in this country thinks that we aren't living in the greatest economy in American history, I knew right then that we wouldn't be hearing much truth from him. Insults flew back and forth, but Trump was much more tame than I was expecting. He insulted Joe on numerous occasions, but more so just kind of let him dig his own grave, as he rambled on and lost track of his thoughts mid-sentence. Most surprisingly was the simple fact that Biden's team even allowed him to participate in this debate, but it was clear as always that he's not mentally with it. They hit pretty much every hot topic in the country right now, and Trump gloated about his previous accomplishments while Biden lied through his teeth claiming to have done so well for us. The real point of criticism I have for Trump, though, was his handling of the pandemic. I understand the rash decisions he was forced to make at an unprecedented time, but I also don't appreciate the way that he glosses over all of his mistakes and tries to put total blame on the Democrats. If he could just own up to his mistakes and say, "Look guys, I didn't know how to handle this situation, I reacted poorly, but I've learned from those mistakes and I'm sorry," that would change the minds of so many people. But that Trump ego is not easily restrained. Nevertheless, he has proved to do a far better job than Joe Biden as president, and was able to show on the debate stage Thursday night. I highly doubt that this debate made a single person decide to vote for one candidate or the other, but it might have inspired some Democrats to look for an alternative. Perhaps someone like Kennedy, who we've talked a lot about. He represents what Democrats truly want. Biden is just a puppet, and he's not a very good one at that. Who knows? I mean, Biden hasn't even gotten the nomination yet. There are no other serious contenders on the Democratic ticket at this point, but as his mental state declines, and more importantly, the public is able to see that decline, an alternative might become more likely for the Dems. For Trump's sake, the best thing that they can do is just keep on running Biden, but regardless, I think that Thursday's debate showed us all who the most qualified presidential candidate is for November. ABC News will be hosting a second debate, presumptively between these same two, in September. At that point, both parties will have officially nominated their candidates, ensuring no changes before the election. Most likely. The best part of the entire debate, though, came near the end, when they began arguing over who is the best golfer, which is a stupid argument to begin with. I mean, the best golfer I know is probably worse than Trump. That man lives to golf.
Just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way, and I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same.
Look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie, that he's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
8.
Never.
But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Okay, let's
not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn.
Let's not act like children.
The idea that Biden could compete with him is pretty laughable. But it makes me think, maybe instead of a vote, just this time around, maybe we should have a golf tournament for the presidency. Well, that's all I have time for. Were you offended by this podcast? Good. Thanks for listening, guys. I really appreciate you all. Have a great week, have a happy 4th of July, and stay conservative.